This is No Frills ASMR. I have a USA Today that is from today, June 2nd, which is when I'm recording this. I just thought we could take a look through it and see what's going on. I have admittedly not been paying much attention to what's going on because I have a major project ongoing in my backyard right now. Some of you who are members have seen some video. I've got paint on my hands and stuff. But yeah. And I ordered a honey extractor, and maybe Monday I'm going to try to extract honey. Hopefully we'll see what it looks like. So lots of excitement in the garden. All right, let's see what's going on in the world. So, buy before you sell is opening new doors. What does that mean? Innovative mortgage financing could revolutionize the big move. Last year, when Matt Gare and his wife Amber decided to upgrade their condo for a single-family home, they had some advantages. Okay. Among the biggest, just enough savings to be able to swing a 10% down payment on a new place. That's, a lot for a lot of houses. My son had to put a lot of money down, and then once you pay all the fees, it's so much money up front. That's the hardest part. Doing so would have wiped out their savings, but it was a fallback option. The couple got lucky, however. They made a contingent offer on a new house that was accepted, mostly because they offered a non-refundable deposit of $5,000. And their condo sold surprisingly quickly, well within the 20 days specified by the contract on the new house. Still, it was super stressful, Gare told USA Today, noting that paying 2 mortgages at once would have been brutally difficult. Yeah, my son had to pay 1 month. He paid rent and the mortgage because the sellers were insistent on a closing date. What are they saying here? Okay, here we go. It was dead for 2 weeks. We didn't have a showing. We didn't have a phone call. It was just really stressful for us, even in a situation that was probably better than many people's. First-time home buyers get a lot of attention, but as any real estate agent can attest, lining up all the moving pieces for buyers who are selling at the same time can often be a bigger headache. Am I not paying attention to what I'm reading? Because do you guys understand what are they saying is different? Helping clients turn a page. Changing the way people move. I don't really know what they're talking about. Okay, that didn't interest me. What else do we have? Democrats have set up a bullseye on Iowa. Isn't it funny? For those of you who aren't in the U.S., Iowa is the state that they watch for elections, which I don't know if that's going to change a little bit. I don't know, but it's kind of funny. What do we have? Democrat Rob Sandwright is chasing Republicans Eddie Andrews. It's chasing Republican Eddie Andrews left. Randy Feenstra, Zach Lon, and Brad Sherman, and Adam Steen for Iowa's governor's seat. I don't know anything about this. I don't know any of these people. For Ruby Red State, controlled at nearly every level by the GOP elected officials, Iowa Republicans are unusually nervous going into 2026 midterms. The state has an open race for governor and the U.S. Senate, and will see 2 of its 4 U.S. House races heavily targeted as pickup opportunities for Democrats. I haven't heard this. The governor's race in particular has unsettled Republicans as well-funded, well-liked Democratic State Auditor Rob Sand marshals a formidable campaign infrastructure while Republicans fight out a divisive five-way primary race. I don't know if you guys can tell, but like a big cloud just went over the sun and it got really dark in here. And it like felt like strange. It was like super bright and then it just went whoo, but I'm not sure if the camera picked that up. Do you guys remember the time I was making a video and a storm came in and there was a giant thunderstorm and then it got so dark and then a clap of thunder and the electricity went out? And I'm afraid at the end of the video I woke everybody up because the thunder went poof, poof. I don't know how many you watched that. I don't know if I could find that video if I wanted to. I tried to find it once because I was going to make a short out of the thunderclap at the end because I didn't even know that was on there. But I couldn't find the video. I couldn't remember which video it was. Anyway, okay, so that's happening in Iowa. U.S.-Iran talks hit another obstacle. I swear to you, every single Friday, we call it Friday episode like a soap opera. Every Friday they say, oh, it's over. We have figured it out. It'll be, or no, I know what it is. It's either we figure it out, Trump will tweet or truth or whatever he does. Like, either we figure it out or I'll blow the hell out of the place. And then Iran says, and then Trump says, we got it figured out. And then Iran says, no, we're not even talking to each other. And then on Tuesday, Trump goes, okay, I'll give you another week. I feel like this keeps happening. And then the oil prices go up and they go down and the stocks go up and they go, like how many times are we going to cry wolf here? Iran halted indirect talks with the United States over Israel's intensifying military campaign in Lebanon, according to Iranian media reports, signaling a possible breakdown in diplomatic efforts to end the 3-month-old war. 3 months? I know I was in Tennessee at my parents' when it started, and that feels like a long time ago. It feels like more than that. The Iranian semi-official Tasnim news agency said on June 1st that Tehran's negotiating team would stop communicating with Washington through mediators in protest of Israel's widening ground invasion and bombardment of Lebanon, where it is battling Iran-backed Hezbollah. The reported breakdown comes after President Donald Trump and his top cabinet officials expressed optimism about a possible deal to end the conflict, which has killed thousands across the Middle East and surged global energy prices. In an early morning social media post, Trump said Iran really wants to make a deal and it will be a good one for the USA. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if there's anything else there. The craziest thing to me, this is where the world is like such a different place. This foreign affairs minister wrote on X, and like Trump is truthing out. Like this is how people communicate. Like not people, but governments. It's through social media. Like what is going on? DOJ targets 4 states in lawsuit over plates. What is that? Plates? Like license plates? What are we talking about? Denial of undercover plates at heart of matter. What are we talking about? Oh, the ICE. Is that what that is? The Department of Justice announced that it had filed lawsuits against 4 states alleging that their denial of confidential license plates for federal agents is unconstitutional. Maine, Washington, Oregon, and Massachusetts. That one I feel like I get corrected on how to say that state. I say Oregon. I hope that's right. And Massachusetts were all hit with lawsuits on May 27th from the DOJ, which alleges that their unwillingness to provide confidential and undercover license plates for federal immigration agents is discriminatory and unconstitutional. Well. I don't know. Don't know about that. Nation's top hurricane forecaster reveals plan for 2026. Hurricane season started June 1st, and the staff at the National Hurricane Center faces one more major task in the months to come. The mission? Provide consistent and accurate information that stands out above a flood of conflicting and confusing social media messages to convince you to take action when a storm comes a-knocking. I can't believe it already started June 1st. It goes like June until, I think, like beginning of November, isn't it? Hurricane season. All right. New Jersey Detention Center visitations to resume. Oh. Yeah, you know that one, like, what was he, a senator was trying to visit the ICE detention center and they arrested him. It's like, full visitation rights were expected to resume at an embattled immigration detention center in New Jersey. New Jersey. What did I just say? New Jersey. Delaney Hall, a private-run detention center in Newark, will once again welcome visitors after more than a week of clashes between law enforcement officers and protesters and a hunger strike among some of the center's detainees. Okay. DHS says it didn't cave to pressure. Tensions high outside Delaney Hall. Senator Andy Kim says he was pepper sprayed outside of sight. Yeah, I saw some video. Papal encyclical stresses humanity in the age of AI. Louis the 14th sees moral issues amid tech boom. Yeah. What are humans worth when the work and thoughts they produce threaten to be replicated by technological algorithms? And what is AI worth if in the end it does not benefit humanity? You know, I just posted a video yesterday maybe about the as I do, the sort of almost drunk history version of the Donner family. And I admit the video is me just doing it, pulling it kind of from memory and discussing it and rambling. And somebody in the comments said that I need to, have a script. And they said it with all love and respect. And the thing is, it would be very easy for me to go to one of the AI systems and say, give me a script for this with all the facts, and do that. And I know that a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people who do ASMR are doing that. But that's what I'm trying to not do. And I know that's why not everything's correct and not everything's perfect, because I don't want it to become that, really. Even though sometimes I'm like, maybe I should get my facts straight. But anyway, just so you know, it's sort of on purpose. Like, I know it's not perfect, and I know I make mistakes, and anyway, whatever. That's just that. Like, yeah, it would be pretty easy for me to be able to just go, give me a script that sounds like me and that has everything correct. But I'm very much trying to fight the urge to be perfect. Anyway, okay. Pope Leo's, what is this word? Encyclical. Oh, like encyclopedic. Encyclical? No. Let's read the sentence. This is a quote. Pope Leo's encyclical asks the right questions of an industry that has so far been better at building first and considering the consequences later. Okay, do they tell us what the word encyclical? Intelligence, stressing the eagerly awaited encyclical from the first U.S.-born pope, titled Magnifica Humanitas, Magnificent Humanity, waxed joyfully on the glory of humanity, urged that AI benefit the common good, called on policymakers to protect workers' rights and to keep kids safe amid AI proliferation, and pressed for strict regulation of AI systems to halt the spread of misinformation, conflict, and war. That would be nice. Okay, so I guess that's a Catholic. I guess the Catholics probably know what that is. I'm not. So he sets out a thing about, I don't know, the future of everything or just business or what. I don't know. Okay, NASA shares plans for moon base. Hey. On Apple TV, there's a new show called Star City, which sounds a lot more lighthearted than it seems to be. Doesn't Star City sound like it's going to be like some atomic age, like there was another show that had a similar. Anyway, but no, this is about like if the Russians had landed on the moon first, and it's from the makers of For All Mankind, which I haven't watched yet, but I do want to watch. But anyway, I watched the first episode. It might be good. I don't know. But it made me think of it because it kind of talked about that. Okay. New York law cracks down on 3D printed guns. Critics say requiring blocking tech raises First Amendment issues. These are all 3D printed. Well, all right. Botched Tennessee execution sparks death row debate. I don't know why it's so hard to get that right. Is that terrible to say? But like, if you're gonna do it, that seems like something you should be able to carry. But what do I know? I don't know anything. I do know I listened to a podcast one time where they talked to a guy who was the executioner, and talked about the mental, how that's hard mentally to know that you have to do that. And they used to do, like, when they do what do you call it, where they'd all stand oh my god, I can't think of the name, they all stand there with a gun and you execute somebody. For some reason the name is lost, but anyway, and they'd have 3 people have bullets and the other ones didn't, and so nobody knows who actually did the deed. That's kind of interesting. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. That's the urban legend. Invasive species put summer fun at risk. Golden mussels are latest threat in California. In the Great Lakes, they have those little, oh my god, what are they called? They're mussels. At least when I was there in the 70s, they were on everything, all over the place, and they were invasive. And it's also blanking. See, I need AI, actually. AI, could you tell me? There's none here. I'm all alone. You might find yourself a soldier in the nation's ongoing battle to control invasive species while on vacation this summer, simply by going through a boat propeller inspection or by being forbidden to use your own firewood while camping. Golden mussels. I did a video probably a year ago about the lamprey eels that are in the Great Lakes. I think that's what they're called, right? Yeah. And I haven't gone back to see what happened with those eels. I have to go look. It was part of the, things of when they were doing all the cuts. And they cut the programs to keep an eye on those eels in the rivers when they come breed. I forget to go back and look at it. Obamacare now costs more. Thank the GOP. Spread vaccines, not measles. No child should starve for a tax cut. All right. I lost my son to fentanyl. Oh, that's sad. This test could have saved him. You know, I was listening to a podcast today about kratom. Not necessarily kratom, but it is about that. But now they've made like a version of it. I forget what it's called. And they said you can buy it at like truck stops and stuff. And it says for energy and weight loss and whatever. And anybody can buy it. It is not even age restricted because it's on the FDA thing as a food, because technically kratom comes from a plant, but now they're really producing it in these labs, but nobody's checking to see. So anyway, but it hits your opioid receptor, and it might be super addictive. So stay away from that stuff. Is my advice. Stay away from it, because you just don't know what you're doing there. Synthetic opioids such as fentanyl have led all other drugs in overdose deaths. That's so sad. Oh God, I can't even read that. That makes me scared. I used to worry about that so much when my boys were younger. And they never did anything like that, but you just worry, like, what if I'm naive or something? You know, what if something's going on? And I talk to him about it all the time. But, you know, did I say, Mom, we're not stupid? I'm like, well, that's what every kid says, you know? Like, I've known a lot of smart people who are addicted to drugs. Like, I knew a guy who was extremely smart, and he died of a drug overdose. Actually, I know more than one. I knew a guitar player who was just brilliant. Oh, my God. He was so sweet. Oh, my God. I can't even talk about it. I'm going to cry. Okay, money. What's going on? Money, money, money. Switch in jobs pays off while young. Okay. Two of my sons are looking at switching jobs because it's such a different world. The job market is so different. It used to be you got a job and you kept that job till you retired. And part of that's because, like, once you work there X amount of years, then you might get a pension. And then if you work there more years, the pension gets more or whatever, you know. But now it's so different. They're all the young guys are like, and gals, but I only have guys in my family, are like, if I don't, you know, switch up my job within 3 to 5 years, then I'll look stagnant. I'm like, what? What? But anyway, let's see what they say. If you haven't gotten much of a pay increase recently and are wondering whether it would be worthwhile to jump ship for a chance at better wages, Bank of America says you should go for it if you're young. Okay. Millennials who switched companies saw after-tax wages grow twice as fast compared with those who stood still. But what if you have seen? My one son just really wants to move to a big city, I think. That's kind of his motivation. Although the pay increases, job switchers may Although the pay increases job switchers may receive are significantly smaller than they were during the Great Resignation in 2022, after the COVID-19 pandemic, Bank of America said in research notes that this is still a sign the labor market may be gradually improving. How much can people expect to earn from switching? Overall, job switchers saw after-tax and benefit wages grow 8%, better than the 5% increase by those who stayed in the first 3 months of this year. Okay, well, that's so individual. I don't know. Struggling to keep up. A record number of seniors are having a tough time with housing costs. Ugh, that sucks. That would suck. Buying a home feels unaffordable to millions of Americans, but so is owning a home, especially among seniors. My property tax went up this year, I think, quite a bit. I have to go look and see what I paid last year. But 54% of the nation's 35 million mortgage-free homeowners are age 65 or older, a group that represents just over a third of all U.S. homeowners. Among that population, roughly 64% own their homes outright. Yet, a record 12.5 million seniors households, or more than a third of the population, ages 65 and older, may be feeling house poor or spending a disproportionately large percentage of their monthly income on housing costs. That would stink. I know some people who, left their family home and bought bigger, more expensive house, which to me is kind of weird because, like, now that the kids are gone, I feel like you could go smaller. But I guess they want grandkids and stuff. But now they have mortgages that are more. I don't know. I guess as long as it goes up. All right. Before Amazon, there was a general store. I was thinking about that. Where I grew up around Detroit, we called them party stores. Like, that was, like, there was Save on Drugs, and that's where we went all the time to buy candy. But on Woodward Avenue, there was all these party stores. And it's funny that they were called that because they were just, like, not quite a general store. They definitely sold probably alcohol and cigarettes, but they also had, like, candy and whatever. Sometimes ice creams. Long before glowing storefronts, crowded shopping malls, and overnight deliveries became the norm, everyday commerce in America moved at a much slower, more intimate pace. General stores found in cities like Philadelphia and Boston as early as 1770s soon spread into smaller towns across New England and eventually westward. More than a store, the social and economic lifeblood of early America. Let's see what they have here. Credit makes enemies. Let's be friends. Headache, neuralgia, tobacco. I can see Lucky Strike cigarettes. That says Milky Way. I think that... I was going to say it said 7-Up, but I'm not sure. Oh, there's an old radio. It might be Bell Telephone's thing there. I'm not sure. Cash only. My granddad had a store, and he would like, I don't know if it's credit, but he let people put things on layaway. And he said, my mom said a lot of times on Christmas Eve, he'd like stay there until super late at night because people would have to wait for their paycheck on Christmas Eve or their pay or whatever to come pay the last payment and get their toys for their kids. So cute. But he also kept brass knuckles under the desk in case he ever needed them. I think he did one time too. All right, what do we have here? Now they show Dollar General is like the new general store, I guess. Price index, April inflation near 3-year high. Fed's favored indicator rose 3.8% year over year. What's the indicator, you guys? The Fed's favored inflation indicator, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, rose 3.8% year over year in April. The Commerce Department said May 28th that reading is nearly in line with forecasters' expectation and represents the highest annual increase since May of 2023. Okay. Gas prices shown at a Wawa gas station in Philadelphia before Memorial Day weekend have risen along with other costs. How much is theirs? Let's see. Regular $4.60. I paid $4.89. I think it's gone up. Trump accounts app is live, but no accounts yet. This is that. Oh, I forgot all about this. He's going to do this where they put money for kids in an account. Is that what that is? A mobile app for Trump accounts has launched. Trump accounts function as IRA accounts for kids, and the government is ceding $1,000 to the accounts for children born in the years 2025 to 2028. By putting easy access to Trump accounts directly in the hands of parents and young Americans, we are helping to ensure that American youth are included in this new era of economic participation, said Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Okay. How do you open one? When will the money arrive? Who actually owns it? The Trump account is owned by the child but administered by an adult until the child turns 18. Can the adult take it out on them? Let's see. When can you withdraw? IRS rules say you can take distributions from a Trump account on January 1st of the year you turn 18. How many kids are going to just pull that money and go party? Withdrawals before that are highly restricted. Okay. Well, I wonder how much it grows. What's the interest rate on it? Wait a minute. Where do they tell us that? Who qualifies? Okay. Nope. How much can be contributed? Who can contribute? Contributions can come from individuals, employers, governments, philanthropists, or charities. I don't see where it says what interest you get on it. Wait a minute. Do you guys see it anywhere? I don't see it. Maybe it's variable. I assume you'll get whatever the interest. Because I thought the idea was they put $1,000 in as a child and it will grow and compound, and they could keep it until they're like 59 and take it out, and it'll actually be a fair amount. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that. IRA rules generally penalize withdrawals before age 59 and a half, with exceptions that include a qualified first-time home purchase, higher education cost, or medical expenses. I don't know. We have to look into that more. I'm surprised they don't tell you on here. It must be growing. 50 states. Not sure how to say this name, but I think it's Nicole Bemeretti developed a new kind of functional rear infrared spectroscopy cap. What does that do? Scans that solves a problem while he discovered while interning at Nationwide Children's Hospital that the existing caps used for non-invasive brain scanning aren't very effective for people with darker skin or thicker hair. When he tried use the brain scan on himself during an internship, the calibration of the device failed. Interesting. So working out of his home, he developed a cap that would be more effective when used on someone with darker skin and thicker hair. Smart guy. Good for you. What's going on? I don't know. Anything. Clean up. What is this? In Michigan, U.S. Air Force officials working on the cleanup of contamination from non-stick forever chemicals at the former Wart Smith Air Force Base extended the timeline for when a final remedy will be in place by 5 years. Why do they have that many non-stick forever chemicals at the Air Force Base? What was that for? Georgia. The Lynx are officially back in Augusta. After an 18-year hiatus, Augusta will be home to a professional hockey team. Oh, I thought that was the animal. The Lynx will be there. Okay, cool. What is this? In Greenfield, Iowa, nearly a century's worth of automotive history will soon go to auction block in Greenfield. More than 30 cars ranging from a 1902 Curve-Dash Oldsmobile runabout to a 2000 Corvette Roadster are heading to auction. Okay, I'll take them. I'll take some of those cars. Prince George's County. Vermont, Burlington. Nearly 1,000 Vermont students will bring live jazz to downtown Burlington as part of the 2026 Discover Jazz Festival. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. Okay. Sports I'm not keeping up on right now, so I don't think I can really speak to this. Let's see what's going on in here. Primetime Land Rush puts Texas on the TV map. Grey's Anatomy has a spin-off set in Texas. I didn't know that. Joining Netflix's The Hunting Wives and Dutton Ranch. I haven't watched any of those shows. I haven't watched Yellowstone. I haven't watched Landman. I haven't watched any of that stuff. They said, what? The Star's best quotes. My Tourette's syndrome got so bad to the point where all of my doctors took my diagnosis away. He's like, I have no idea what you have, but you don't belong in society. You don't belong in college. You shouldn't get a job. You shouldn't work. You shouldn't drive. TLC personality Baylin Dupree on an episode of the Howie Mandel Does Stuff podcast. I don't know who she is. Strangers become besties in real life. Kids always know how to keep you humble. Just take it from Christiana Pitts, star of the delightful Broadway meet cute Two Strangers, which is vying for 8 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. I don't know that either. I don't know anything. Oh my God. Who's celebrating a birthday? Dana Carvey is 71. Wow. Jerry Mather, 78. How old's Andy Cohen? 58. Okay. Which horoscope do you guys want to read? I'll just randomly pick one. Leo, July 23rd to August 22nd. Stretch a little further today. You may not feel especially adventurous, but forgoing your comfort zone is a good idea. Well, let's just read them all. Okay, Aries, March 21st until April 19th. How many of you guys know your sign? I mean, or care about it. I know mine. I know I'm Sagittarius, but that's all I know. People are like, oh, you're good with whatever. I know, this stuff's silly. I can't believe how seriously millennials take this. I feel like millennials are the group that take this the most seriously. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Aries. Okay. Finally, some credit as the Sun and Saturn harmonize this evening. You get the respect you deserve. Go Aries. Taurus. Getting rid of one thing creates space for another. This includes negative moods and attitudes. Drop your dude, Taurus. Gemini. Reaching a personal milestone as the Sun and Saturn harmonize. Others acknowledge your leadership credentials. Finally. It actually says finally. All right, Cancer. Hard at work? Discipline pays off in behind-the-scenes matter as the Sun harmonizes with Saturn. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. Okay, we already read Leo. Virgo. Double down on a goal and don't forget to loop your allies. I think Greg's Virgo. Double down on your goal and don't forget to loop in your allies. Interesting. I have no idea what that would mean. Libra. Finally, a breakthrough with a partner. The Sun's connection to Saturn shows that sticking it out was the right call. Okay. Scorpio. Seeing results, hard work and discipline transform you from a hard rock into a diamond. Wow. Okay, here's mine, guys. Sagittarius. Do you want more out of this relationship? Be real with your love interest. Okay, all right. Capricorn. Rewarded for your diligence. As the Sun and Saturn harmonize, paying attention to the details gets you the results you are after. Aquarius. Making time for what matters. That means less work, more play as the Sun harmonizes with Saturn. Pisces. Perseverance paying off. A financial or energetic investment bears fruit. All right. Well, there you go. All right, guys, I gotta go eat. I'm hungry. McCartney. Oh, I just watched him on you ever watch that Chicken Shop Date show? It's cute. But he was on there.